you going? It's Beks Thompson here, and I've got something exciting for you today. I'm going to show you how I make my Ayurvedic chai, because so many people ask me how I do it, what's in it, what's different, because it tastes so amazing. And I have to say that it is a recipe that I've sort of adapted from the amazing Rebecca Bornstein, who taught us some sort of Ayurvedic modules while I was doing my yoga teacher training up at Radiant Light Yoga. So that's who I credit most of this to. And I've started it off a little bit here, so I'll talk to you about that in a moment. For those that don't know me, I'm Rebecca Thompson, like I say. I run a program for women called Be a Beacon. So if you are someone who wants to make more of an impact and who doesn't want to feel like they're always compromising something, whether it's your health, your stress levels, your energy levels, or your family, or your health and food rituals, then that's what I help you with. I help people to be brilliant without the burnout and without feeling you have to compromise. Now, one of the things I really love about chai is that it really is a self-care ritual. It's an acknowledgement of these amazing healing spices that are in this beautiful drink. And it doesn't have to taste horrible, right? It can still be beautiful and sweet and nurturing and uplifting. And it's the balance of the spices and the way that you prepare it that creates, the impact in your body. So I've already got it going here because I like to boil the kettle first. You've already got the water heated up, and I've added in some fresh ginger. So that's what I get going to start with. So I've got a saucepan here that's probably going to do about 3 mugs of tea afterwards. We share it out a little bit. It's half filled with water. And in that, I've probably got a good couple of tablespoons of fresh ginger chopped. And particularly because we're now moving into the cooler months here in Queensland, anyway, in Australia, the ginger is really important because it's warming and it's great for the digestion. So that's going, and I'm going to show you what else I've got. Now I've got this beautiful little pot here. I'm just going to see if I can show you where a lot of my other spices go. Can you see that? So I have this ready. It's what's called a masala dabba, and it's ready for my other spices. And this is going to boil away for about 10 minutes. So let me just grab what I'm going to need. So we've got the ginger. Let me turn this down. This electric stove of mine is a little crazy. And it's a little hard to regulate. So I'll just get rid of that one there. Some messages coming up. So I've got some cinnamon now. So I'm going to pop a couple of cinnamon sticks in. Now I like to use the bark and not the sticks. The sticks are really expensive and you just don't need them in chai, whereas the bark gives you a lot of flavour. It's less expensive, so you chuck a few bits of bark in. I'm a little random with my measurements. So for about this much, you've got fennel seeds, and you're going to put a couple of teaspoons of fennel seeds in. And fennel seeds are really, really good. They're cooling, they're great for the digestions. This is all about digestion, primarily. Now we've got some ashwagandha seeds, and you just put 1 teaspoon of that in. Ashwagandha seeds are quite strong. And one of their big uses is, again, for digestion. It helps with anyone that has a lot of bloating or indigestion or constipation or wind. And it's also really good for any congestion in the lungs. So if you are going to add milk to this, dairy milk, then it's really good for that. Now, it's starting to get a bit cooler, so I'm going to add some cloves. But you wouldn't necessarily put cloves in summer. You'd probably replace that with coriander seeds. But I'm just going to put about 5 cloves in there. And again, they have a lot of immune system benefits, so they are a winner. I'm removing damp if you're in a cold and damp spot. Now I'm going to put about 8 green cardamom pods in. Oops. And 3 brown cardamom pods in. Now you may not have seen brown cardamom. Let me show you. They're this funny little thing. They're beautiful. They smell smoky and still a little bit like normal cardamom. But they're just divine. They have that real smokiness. I just absolutely love them. Now, cardamom is very healing for the small intestine and the large intestine. It's also very, very good for congestion. So the green cardamom is more cooling and the black cardamom is more heating. I'm going to smash them away in my little pestle and water. Mortar, the stainless steel one in India when I was recently there, because we kept breaking the stone lines. keep her losing some of that off the side. So I'm just going to pop it in here. All right, and that all goes in. So that's everything that's going to go in from a spice point of view. So while that is going, I'm just going to keep it on there. Let's talk about whether you are going to put tea or milk in this. There are different schools of thought. Now, from an Ayurvedic perspective, you would normally put some Rapadura or some panela in there, which is a dehydrated cane juice. And now this is a much less refined sugar, so it's less sweet, it's less damaging on your body's chemistry, and it gives you a lot more trace elements of minerals and iron. Now, I play in and out of whether I do that. Today I'm actually going to make one that doesn't have the sweetness in. So instead I'm going to use a tea with vanilla in, and because vanilla is a natural sweetener, and I'm going to use Rooibos. So again, sometimes I use normal tea, sometimes I use Rooibos. It really doesn't matter. It depends how sensitive you are. When you add the tea and the sugar immediately before you add milk, it helps reduce the effect of the caffeine and the tannins in the tea. So that's how in Ayurveda you get around the effect of the tea itself on your body if you're not wanting caffeine. But if I'm going to add Rooibos, then it doesn't really matter. But I'm not going to add it right now. Just wanted to talk through what some of our options are. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Like I say, my electric stove is a little bit painful to work with. And then you have options as to what milk you want to use. Now, obviously, cow's milk is more stable when you're actually dealing with this kind of heat. And the spices can really negate the effect of mucus on your body if you're not someone that tolerates dairy milk very well. However, if you are vegan, then you can use almond milk or coconut milk. And I just encourage you to explore which milks are more stable. Bonsoy have just brought out a new almond milk and I love it. It's super, super stable. I used to sometimes use the Bonsoy soy because it's organic and, cooked and soaked and roasted soy, which is better than your usual stuff. And sometimes I would use the coconut and almond mix. But if you get something that's too thin and not very stable, it doesn't work well in chai. Particularly with the ginger, it tends to split and go a little bit funny. So this Bonsoy almond milk, I should just get it out the fridge to show you. This is the one that I'm really liking at the moment. So again, sometimes I use cow's milk. I'm not totally vegan, but I just feel into my body. And today I'm going to use the almond milk and the Rooibos tea with vanilla because that's completely caffeine free and it already has a little bit of sweetness in. So it's really up to you what you want to do at that point. So I wanted to just explain a little bit as well about the sweetness while this is boiling away. Let this boil away for about 10 minutes. So keep an eye on your water level just in case you've got a stove that's going a little bit more crazy or your pan's a different size. You want to check you're not losing too much water. So with the sweetness, because there's a lot of talk there out in the world about sugar and how bad it is for you, with the balance of what is in the chai mix, and if you use a panela or the Rapadura and you're not having a lot of other sugar in your diet, then it's deemed as a perfectly acceptable kind of level of sweetness. Like I say, with the panela and Rapadura, they're keeping a lot of the other nutrients of the sugar in, so it's not as a refined process in your body, so your body can deal with it much better. And in Ayurveda and in sort of the Hindu world as well, in the Yoga Bhakti world, the sweetness is related to devotion, right? So the sweetness of food is around feeling into that sense of nurturing and connection and unconditional love. And I think that's a really beautiful way to feel into it. And, for me, food and anything that you do, it's all around the intention, and you can do something mindlessly or you can do something mindfully, full of intent. And like I say, really take the time over the preparation, really infuse it with love. And when you actually come to consume it, do the same thing. Really take some space and time. When I have a chai, on the rare occasion I have a coffee, I like to really bask in that moment and use it to really drop in and feel that nectar, going in, feel what that's doing for my body, really take that time to tap into the moment and infuse it with gratitude. And I think if we can do that with whatever we do, then we are increasing the vibration of whatever it is that we're putting into our bodies and making sure that we're in that highest vibrational state to receive it as well. So this has been going for quite some time. Like I say, today I'm going to do my Rooibos and vanilla just to show you like a different way. And with this amount of tea, it's going to be about sort of 3 cups, 3 mugs. I put 3 tea bags in. So even if this was your normal tea, you'd pop that in there now, along with any panela or rapidura if you wanted to put sugar in. Now, one of the other asides to this is people tend to use honey if they don't want to use sugar. Do not use honey. Honey should never be heated. It should definitely never be boiled. And even if you're using it afterwards and popping it in your cup, you really shouldn't heat honey to over, I can't remember what the amount is, but I think it's over 40 degrees. It's not good to use in baking. It's not good to use under those such high temperatures. So you are actually doing more harm in your body if you use honey. Same thing with sort of rice syrup. They're not great for your body too. So, sometimes the alternatives are worse than the actual raw form itself. So if you can get panela or rapidura and you're okay with that, use that, or use something with vanilla in like I have and add some natural sweetness. So you don't want to let those tea bags go for too long. If it's normal tea, you want to get your milk in straight away. Mine's Rooibos, so we can add, let it just stew a little bit to get more flavour before we add the milk. So I'm using this Bonsoy Almond milk, and you're pretty much going to top up that pan, see, nearly all the way. So you're very much half and half milk and water. So great source of protein. Just going to pop this back in the fridge. All right. So I'm just going to put this on pause while that boils. All you need to do is give that a little bit of a stir. Watch the stove a little bit. This is probably the most sensitive part of the whole process. I don't know how many times I have boiled over my chai on the stove. The kids will tell you many times. You think it's fine, you walk away and you come back and it's boiled over. So I'm going to keep an eye on this and I'll come back when we have got that just about ready to go. So we are now boiling away. This is the point that you have to catch. Not so bad on non-dairy milk, it doesn't go quite so crazy, but that is boiling. So I'm going to turn it off. If you are using dairy milk, let it boil for a bit, like keep it stable, don't let it boil over, but let it boil for a little bit. It's really good for the whole process. Now, before I strain it, I'm going to actually take my tea bags out. Why? Because otherwise they make this great big splash and everything kind of goes a little crazy. So I'm just going to take the tea bags out, pop them in the compost, and then strain it. So I think you can see that. Yeah, I've just got a nice bowl, stainless steel bowl and a sieve. And I'm just going to pour it through and strain. Again, if you're not careful, if you leave the spices in for too long now, your milk might split. Tends to happen if the ginger is very, very juicy and very strong, but you might sometimes get that. So you just, it's a bit of a shame when your milk splits because there's nothing you can do about it. It's kind of, that's it, your chai's gone. There we go, scrape it all out. I like to just press down on all the seeds just to get that last little bit of juice because you can only use them once. And then get your favourite cup. I have some special cups. I'm just going to go and grab mine. I might have already used it today actually. Bear with me one sec. You get a nice cup. And I have a few favourite cups now. This is one of them I got at an art gallery in London when I was there. It's just really beautiful. This is all part of the experience. Yeah, it's all part of the experience to have a beautiful cup to enjoy the whole process. Pour it in and choose a beautiful quiet spot to sit down and enjoy your chai. And what I tend to do with the rest is pop it in a flask and then, anyone else in the house can have it later, or I can have another cup later on. Awesome. I hope you enjoy it. And like I say, if it's not sweet enough for you using the Rooibos and vanilla, feel free to add in your own little bit of rapidura or something like that. Have fun. Let me know how you go with making it, or if it's different from your recipe, what you do. Take care.